The importance of upskilling. The massive post pandemic skills shortage makes upskilling vital for employers. Many people identify poor management as their reason for leaving a job. Upskilling managers is crucial to attract and retain talent in a competitive labour market. How can employers upskill their managers? By Nicola Heath. Article begins. Among one of the more serious effects of the pandemic on the employment landscape is the acute skills shortage. In Australia, for instance, unemployment is at 3.5%, its lowest rate in almost 50 years. As a result, finding the right person for a role is challenging. RMIT's research report, Ready, Set, Upskill, found that 58% of employers reported increased difficulty recruiting for available positions. The UK is experiencing its own skills shortage, which began with Brexit and has worsened since the onset of the pandemic. According to one report, 68% of small to medium enterprises and 86% of large organizations are experiencing skills shortages. Further, 72% of organizations say existing staff are feeling the burden of additional workload caused by skills shortages. When the pandemic hit, the priority for many organizations was to adapt to the situation and survive in the face of uncertainty, says Claire Hopkins, interim CEO at RMIT Online. For many, this meant refocusing their efforts towards fewer training and skills development opportunities. A report from Amazon Web Services on digital skills in Asia Pacific indicates that Singapore, for example, will need 1.2 million additional digital workers by 2025, over 50% more than it has today, to remain competitive. For employers seeking to attract and retain staff in a competitive labour market, upskilling management is a critical and recently underused tool. Investing in our managers can improve the entire ecosystem of the organisation and can even prevent valued employees from leaving, says Hopkins. Hopkins says, in a digital economy, it's crucial for managers to have the necessary skills to lead remote, diverse, intergenerational teams. She points to the 2019 AIM Leadership Survey that found that more than 72% of Australian workers left their jobs due to poor leadership, with communication skills and emotional intelligence identified as the critical skills gaps among leaders. Also in short supply in the current market are digital literacy and technical customer service and problem-solving skills. Deloitte's Digital Pulse report revealed that Australia needs at least 156,000 new technology workers by 2025, and 87% of jobs now require digital skills, says Hopkins. Additionally, the World Economic Forum has said 1 in 2 workers will need reskilling, and those remaining in their current roles will need to update 40% of their skill set to adapt to the changing labour market. If addressing this skills deficit was important before the pandemic, it's become critical now, she says. With technology continuing to drive how we communicate and come together, upskilling leadership in these areas can help inspire, build trust, and foster strong teamwork while creating a positive workplace culture. Yet the middle management cohort, also known as the B-suite, is often overlooked when it comes to training opportunities. Unfortunately, they get the dregs of whatever leadership budget there is, says Horton. Senior leaders usually get first dibs, she says, followed by first-time leaders and diversity programs. While upskilling the B-suite may seem cost prohibitive on paper, overlooking their learning and development needs to come at an even greater cost. Those mid-level leaders who have been left to their own devices for 20 years without any development whatsoever are the ones carrying the worst habits, the greatest responsibility, and have the greatest impact on your culture and performance, she says. There is no simple one size fits all solution to upskilling a workforce. The biggest challenges for any organization is catering to diverse staff learning preferences and requirements to get the best out of each employee, says Hopkins. Training of all types is a two-way conversation, and to be effective, employers must be receptive to the needs and feedback of their employees. Organizations should consider offering a variety of learning opportunities, a mix of structured, flexible, totally or partly online, and even bespoke courses, she says. Learning and development investment is most effective when it is targeted and aligns with strategic goals. Effective training happens when companies identify their skills gap and offer employees training that addresses these needs with practical content from industry experts connected to the market, Hopkins says. Leadership buy-in is also essential. The leadership team has to be involved with the team's career development, says Hopkins, who highlights the need to make training part of the company's culture, with leaders helping to demonstrate its value. Horton says mid-level managers typically prefer hands-on experiential learning opportunities. They respond really well in peer-to-peer environments. In many instances, Horton sees managers who've done quite a bit of training, but for some reason they're not applying everything they've learned, which is why the training programs her company runs focus on changing mindsets before addressing methodology. Practical application is another critical component of training programs. We run a series of experiments to help leaders to work out which tools in which scenario feel authentic for them and get them the results that they want. And those are the tools that they'll carry through the rest of their career, Horton says. REA Group is a global digital real estate advertising company that performs consistently well on employer review websites, such as Glassdoor. Contributing to its strong performance as a preferred employer is a culture that prioritizes learning. The fast paced and digital nature of their business means they have to ensure skill development and training are a priority, says Hopkins. During the pandemic, REA Group saw a spike in interest in learning and development amongst its workforce. In response, the organization scaled up its virtual learning platform known as REA University. One obstacle preventing staff from participating in training was a lack of time. To address this roadblock, the organization ensured training was flexible, accessible, and catered to a range of learning styles. Managers were critical to the process, says Hopkins. People leaders play a key role in the engagement of their teams, so providing them with the appropriate support tools, training, and forums for them to assist in leading teams is vital.